Sponsored by Zentavos. Keep more of your money.
Welcome back to Ask Sloan, everybody. That's Ben.
And that's Sloan.
And today we're going to be talking about
How to be an effective leader. I think this is something that everybody struggles with at some point, unless, of course, you went through some training that teaches you how to be a leader, or you're just a natural born leader, which I think that some people are, but that doesn't mean that you're a good leader. So that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about today.
yeah, I think it's huge. I think it's a huge topic. And if we're talking, to you, the question is, do you want to be a leader? Right? I think that's like really a major question. Like if you're thinking about leadership, whether like deciding whether or not that's something you want to do, because leadership isn't what you think it is. It's not like, hey, I'm the leader. Everybody's going to serve me and I'm going to get all the goodies and I get to tell everybody what to do. And, like leadership is, the epitome of, I don't know, preferred life or something like that. But
Yeah.
the truth is that leadership, it's probably the most stressful position to be in, and it's the position of solving all the problems and dealing with all the complaints and basically just stuck trying to
Yeah.
figure everything out, and it's super lonely, right? They say so lonely at the top.
Yeah, I want to draw a distinction, right, between types of leadership. So I believe that there's like the act of being a leader, the characteristic of being a leader, and then there is being in a position of leadership, right? Those are two distinct things. And so I want to talk about the first one, right? So when I think about having the characteristic of what a leader is, I think of somebody that is um, consistently abiding by their beliefs and holding true to their values. I think about somebody that is not necessarily following the crowd, not afraid to make their own way. But when I think of somebody that is in a position of leadership, I think of, my boss. I think of my mentor. I think of, the president. Um, and so I think that that's what we want to focus on today, but the two do intertwine. So when it comes to um, being in a position of leadership, what characteristics do you think that somebody needs to have in order to be in that position and manage effectively?
So I'm gonna lay it out like my personal values and beliefs around leadership. And I think for sure there are multiple leadership styles, and I did not study those before our podcast today. So I'm not going to go into those distinctions. I'm really going to talk about what I think is the most powerful,
Yeah,
and then we'll highlight some other styles that are noted and kind of explain different personalities of leadership. But I firmly believe in servant leadership.
absolutely.
I believe that the leader's number one job is to serve those that they are leading. Okay. And when we're talking about the workplace, and there's different types of leadership, right? Okay. In positions of leadership. It's not always just a job. It's not always just at work or whatever. Political leaders a little bit different than corporate leaders, if you will. But like at work, if I've got a team that I'm leading, I can't go to my boss and be like, "Well, it was Tommy's fault that we didn't get it done." You know what I mean? Like, no, my job is to make sure Tommy has the tools and resources he needs in order to get that job done. My job is to make sure that Sally is fully trained and ready to go. My job is to assist the team in getting the job done on time, under budget, accomplishing goals, figuring out tasks, solving problems, right? Like it's my job to make it happen. and if it's a team effort, to come behind each team member and make sure they have what they need to do the work and do it exceptionally well,
Yeah.
right? Which in the opposition of that is like, hey, it's my job to reprimand the team when they don't get the job done. It's my job to hire and fire. Like, you know what I mean? Like a completely different
Okay.
perspective on that is not it's my job to serve the team, but it's the team's job to serve me. I told the team what to do. They didn't get it done. They're fired. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, nah, that's not
So
what I
when
think
you're
makes leaders.
putting somebody in a position of leadership, um, what are some qualities that you look for?
Okay. So number one, communication skills.
Okay.
Okay. Number one.
And we'll talk about that in the next episode.
Hey. Number two, I'm looking for a certain temperament in their personality. Okay. Someone who doesn't get frustrated easily.
Mm,
Okay. Someone that understands that their job is solving problems. So they're not surprised when problems arise. Instead, they have forethought on what problems could arise and they're prepared for them when they come. Right. I'm looking for someone that is ambitious, but not zealous for power. Okay.
interesting.
Right. Um, I'm looking for someone who's kind. I think kindness is huge. Um, I'm looking for someone who is caring. Okay. Because how can you be a servant leader if you don't care about the people that you're leading? Right. Um, I would say those are like the top things that I'm looking for in a leader. I mean, and that's like leadership soft skills. That's outside of the fact that I believe a leader should be able to do all of the work that the team is supposed to do. That way, if a
Absolutely.
team member is not there, they can step in and make it happen.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm not just looking for a leader to be good at making sure the team can do the job. The whole team goes away. I want a leader that can get the job done.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would argue that the soft skills are the most important too, because
Totally.
a lot of people can get work done, but not a lot of people have those soft skills. And me personally, like as I try and grow into a leader as best I can, I think that those soft skills are things I'm trying to attain. Um, so out of those soft skills that you named, what do you think is attainable? And is there, if not everything, and what do you think somebody just naturally has to embody? Like they just have it or they don't?
Well, when I was coming up, I was taught that there are A managers, there are B managers, and there are C and D managers. Okay.
Interesting.
And I was
Okay.
taught that if you're a C and D manager, you cannot become an A or a B manager. You literally do not have the talent. You don't have it in you
Hmm.
to learn the things that are needed to be an A and B manager, but that B managers through the right training can definitely become A managers. And most of the time, A managers have the innate people skills needed to be able to produce results through people. They have those soft skills. They develop them, naturally. So they don't have to do it. So out of all the things that I, explained, I think that there are definitely um, I think communication can be taught, but I think that it's a really difficult thing. I think some of these things really like align together. Okay, like as an example, if you're prone to frustration, then you're not going to be able to learn high level communication skills because high level communication skills is when someone's yelling and screaming at you and you have to bring them down and you have to change. I'll give you this. I was when I was learning sales, I went to one of my mentors, and he taught me that the highest level of sales skill is to take a disgruntled customer who's extremely upset, blaming you for everything, wants a refund, okay, gonna sue, okay, like all that, and bringing them all the way down, not only not giving them a refund, but selling them more stuff. Like complete 180.
That
And
sounds like hypnosis.
I was like, how on earth is that possible? And he told me about, it's like, he was like, well, just the other day it happened to me. Okay. And he told me the story, and I was like, wow. Okay. And so I set out from that day forth to figure out, like, how do you do that? Right.
Did you ever
And
figure it out?
yeah, when we talk about communication, I'll let you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So tune in. We're gonna talk about that.
So if you're highly prone to frustration, okay, or you've got a chip on your shoulder, or you don't understand kindness and caring, like if you have some of those issues, you'll never reach that level of communication, right? Um, if you're prone to frustration, you're not going to be an effective problem solver, okay? Because things are going to come up that require critical thinking, and critical thinking requires
Poise.
an ability, yeah, poise, an ability
Yeah.
to, and
So
you can't pretend like you're not gonna have feelings. Like
yeah.
I run into stuff where I'm like, OMG, you know what I mean? But you've got to have a
It kept the
process for
PG
that.
there.
Yeah, we're gonna be a little PG this week. You got to have a process to bring yourself through the emotion and get to logic, okay? Right? Because
Yeah.
logic is not emotional.
So essentially, if you are highly emotional and you're easily triggered, that emotion is going to cloud your judgment, not allow you to communicate effectively in times where you might need to bring somebody down and problem solve logically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think people who cannot become leaders are people who really don't have an affinity for people, right?
I see.
Because leading people is leading people. Okay.
Yeah.
And so if there are people that disgust you, and that like and if you lack patience, like
Yeah.
like 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 we all have different skill levels. You're not just gonna lead highly skilled people. Like you're gonna lead a couple people that you're like, bro, I told you that 3 times. I showed you. I taught you how many times. Like come in, come in. Bah! Like you're gonna, like
Yeah,
you know what I
no,
mean. Like
I'm
you're like
laughing
you're gonna
because
run into a few of those people, and guess what? You can't just fire them tomorrow, right? Like it's like,
yeah.
how do you do now? You might have to shift the seat. You might have to fire them eventually, but like you can't be. You have to have patience,
Yeah,
man.
I'm laughing because I go through that all the time.
I'll bet.
But you know what? I think that also some of that also has to do with a certain level of humbleness. Like you need to be humble enough to think, wait a minute, they're not lacking understanding because they're inferior. They're lacking understanding maybe because I'm not explaining something the way that I should. Or maybe it's because what I'm extremely familiar with, this is their first time laying their eyes on it. And I think that was a learning curve for me, you know?
I get extremely frustrated with myself when I feel like I've been extremely clear and you have no idea what I'm talking about. And I've tried about 4 different ways of explaining it, and you still don't get it.
Some
I'm
people
gonna
just can't get it.
I'm gonna my blood pressure is gonna go up. Like I'm gonna increase in volume. Like at some point I'm gonna be like, do you understand what the color red is? You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get like, but really I'm more frustrated with my inability to somehow show you, because I have this belief that like you can simplify most things, and if you really try, you can do it, right? like
Oh,
like if like
absolutely.
if like I don't feel inferior, bro. I feel like the things that I know I learned, and like anybody can learn them. Okay,
I
you
agree.
know what
I'm
I
the
mean?
same way. Yeah,
Yeah, and
absolutely.
so I agree with you 100%. Humility is a huge skill when it comes to being an effective leader, and not believing that you are superior, because we're not. Like it's like bro, I don't play the tuba, dude. Okay, like I don't play the tuba. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
bring me a tuba player, and he might be terrible at communication, but he plays the tuba. Like how like
Yeah.
I don't play the tuba, bro. We need tubas. You know what I mean? Like
We need some. I mean, maybe not anymore since AI is coming out.
I
Um,
mean, who doesn't want to go to the symphony?
but I think one of the things that you touched on that is extremely important is bringing things down to a simpler level. Maybe not bringing it down per se, but explaining complex concepts in a simple way. I think that that is an acquired talent, and I don't think that many people have that talent. And it's because a lot of people don't want to. Well, first off, not everybody has humility. And two, when you understand something that's complex, that just leaves a lot of room for hubris. Like you start to feel above average because you're like, dude, I know Calc 4 and you only know arithmetic. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to try to explain this to you, but if you can't get it, well, it's because you're just not at that level. Whereas I've seen different leaders that are able to explain very complex things to people that have no understanding of it. Um, and they tend to be a lot higher at the top, I'd say.
Absolutely, because if you can't direct everyone, then you can't be the most effective leader, right?
Mm.
And and I believe that I have that skill, the ability to take complex uh, systems or information and break it down into simple terms. Okay, and the way that I do it is by relating those things to other things that are simple, right?
Oh, like analogies
Yeah,
essentially.
analyses and stuff. Okay, right, and you got to be careful because some analogies are like still way over a person's head.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean.
Some people just use analogies that are too complicated.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, nah, bro, I never been there, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's super important to relate, right,
Mhm.
to who you're leading, um, and so it that's a good answer to your question in regards to what an A leader can do that a C leader can't do, right? Which is really understand who they're leading and um, how to instruct them in a way that they can make things happen quickly and efficiently without going over their head.
So what are the key differences between an A and B leader and a C and D leader? Because you were saying earlier a C and D leader can never become an A and B leader, right? A B leader can become an A leader, but a D leader and a C leader, well, they're just not really cutting it.
So John Maxwell, okay, I've read a lot of John Maxwell. It's great stuff. If you want to be a leader, go pick up his stuff. And I'm probably gonna butcher this, okay, a little bit. All right, but there's like a stack, okay, of 1 to 5, okay, and a leader at level 1 is follow me because I'm the boss, okay. So it's because I said so, right? And there's no respect, okay. There's no camaraderie. There's no, hey, I want to follow you. It's I have to, right? And so you're not gonna get 100% from your people if you're a leader because I'm the boss, okay? And it progresses, okay? And the progression gets into like more and more buy-in, okay? And like the servant leader in a level 5 leader is a servant leader, and people are following that person because they want to, because they believe that that person is going to lead them where they want to go, because they believe in the capabilities of that person, because they know that person cares about them. Like it's 100% buy-in in a level 5 leader, and that's the leader that's looking at their team and saying, hey, how can I help you be the best you can be, right? Where the level 1 leader is doesn't care about that at all. The level 1 leader is like, why didn't you do your job? Why didn't you do it faster? I got to deliver this up the chain. And like, you know what I mean? So the difference between a C and D leader and A and B leader is the difference between whether people are willing to follow you, whether they want to follow you, and whether or not you understand what it takes to develop an incredible team that can make incredible things happen. C and D leaders are like, I'm the manager. Why weren't you here on time?
Yeah, I see what you mean. I feel like most people are like that. Yeah, I think I've had both C and D leaders and A and B leaders.
For sure you have.
And I like from the distinction you're drawing, I would definitely say that the A and B leaders are the ones that see something within you that you don't even see in yourself. They're able to derive the talent from you that you have not yet been able to tap into.
A and B leaders are 100% people. Okay? They definitely need to have the skills around what they're leading. Like Elon Musk could not be the leader of SpaceX if he didn't understand how to build rockets
Yeah.
and physics and how all that stuff, like he knows what that stuff is, but he's also a people person. Okay, he understands people and he knows how to invest in them and get the best out of them, right? He also understands how to identify the best skill sets in
Mm.
people and develop teams. How do we know this? Because he's the CEO of like 5 companies and he has incredible teams doing incredible things,
Yeah.
right? So he has to be that type of thing. And what's really funny is like, and he jokes about like having Asperger's or something. So he's not like the most personable person,
Yeah.
but he's still a people person.
That's interesting because I mean, in the context that we've been speaking about a leader, it's a very positive context, and it's almost suggesting that a leader has to be like this happy-go-lucky person. Like,
Not
I'm so happy every morning, and I'm just gonna bring positivity. Whereas, like, Steve Jobs was a leader, right? You're talking about Elon Musk, and
Steve.
if you ever hear
Steve was a
people
leader.
talk about Steve
He
Jobs,
was a jerk.
and people say he was a jerk, but people
Terrible.
talk about him like he was a jerk, but he was a genius. He was a jerk, but he was a
Well,
visionary.
so then
So it's like they had a lot of respect for him too.
yes, but lots of people didn't want to follow him. Okay, so like
Mm,
only certain people would follow him. So and that's where we get into like the different styles of leadership. Okay, so there's a stark contrast between Donald Trump as a leader, Steve Jobs as a leader, Oprah Winfrey as a leader, Elon Musk as a leader, Jeff Bezos, the leaders of Netflix, Bob Iger. I'm sure all these people have completely different leadership styles. Okay, but the one thing that's probably consistent between all of them is that they understand people and figure out how to get the best from people. Now, there is a huge difference in getting the best out of people through aggression, which is a Donald Trump, which is a Steve Jobs, and getting it out of like camaraderie. Okay. And I don't know that I could give you any examples because I haven't necessarily, had any of those particular
like
people.
Sloan.
Yeah. I mean, I try to do it, but I'm definitely not the
He's
guy.
like, no, I
Yeah.
actually forced them to do the
Like, yeah,
work.
no, totally. No, I definitely don't. Um, I want a complete buy-in, and I may be a little soft in certain circumstances,
Yeah.
because I care a lot, and I give people second and third chances, and sometimes that's not great. Sometimes you got to let people go, you know. Um, but we're not talking about how to manage the team. We're talking about how to be a leader.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I don't know how to be as hard as Steve Jobs, but everybody who worked for him that respected that type of leadership will tell you that it made them the best they could be because he didn't tolerate mediocrity. Like you were going to
Mm.
come with it or you weren't coming.
Mm. I honestly I've seen leaders as well that are sort of dynamic in that space. Like I've had leaders in the past where they'll talk to me and they're like, Ben, we need this to be perfect. This is not good enough. And then they'll talk to the person next to me and they're like, come on, buddy, you could do better. And I'm just like, what? You know what I mean? And so, like, treating people, I think, a little bit differently depending on
How
the
did you feel
leaderships.
about that?
Honestly, I feel like I'm a very glass half full kind of person. And so I saw that as like, oh, they don't think this person can take it. Like if they were to give them that same type of fire that they're giving me, they think that this person may get burned, whereas I'll be okay. And then I think that that kind of it's like I took that experience and I turned it into confidence, where I'm like, oh wow, so I guess they see me in a certain light, so maybe I am like that. You know what I
So,
mean?
did y'all hear that, folks? That is exactly how you need to pay attention to that. Did you ever see the movie Whiplash?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
So we're running a
That's a
little
little
bit
too
out of time.
intense, though.
No, we're running a little bit out of time, so we're gonna wrap up with this. But that is 100% what that Whiplash movie is about. Okay, and I have had leaders that were belligerent, that were not merciful, that pushed us beyond our limits, and in those circumstances, I was capable of achieving things I never thought possible to achieve. Okay, for sure, if you're being treated with that level of intensity, it's because they believe you can do it. If they're not doing that to someone else, okay? And and when you're managing a team, like to get results, what are you going to do? You're going to go to your A player or your C player?
Yeah, probably the A
You're
player.
going to go to the A player, okay? So, but the basketball squad, are they treating the bench like they treat the
LeBron James?
LeBron James? No.
Definitely
You
not.
know. Now at some point LeBron's got his golden ticket, but how's LeBron's treating the next level guys? Like he's putting it on them because he expects results, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's super important when following great leaders to recognize that the intensity is generally around a result and not personal. And if they're requiring high level of achievement from you, you doubly get to ask for you know
Compensation.
you get to ask for compensation once you cross that finish line. Like
Mm,
it's a medal that you're going to earn, right?
yeah.
Okay? And and that's the reward.
Yeah.
Okay?
So I know that there's not that much time left, but I really want our audience to leave with an actionable step of how they can begin to become a leader if they're not yet a leader. And one of the things that you had mentioned was um, try to understand people, right? Try to be a people person. How do you become a people person? What is something that you can do to become a people person? One of the things I've done is there's books. One of the books I read was How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think that's a very general book that a lot of people either read already or should read. But what's something that you would give them?
So wisdom of the week,
Wisdom of the week.
right? Wisdom of the week. I think if you want to be an incredible leader, you need to look for ways that you can support those around you, that you can bring the tools and resources needed to accomplish a task. Look for problems that nobody else knows how to solve and solve them. And sometimes solving them is not about you doing it, it's about you figuring out where the tools and resources are that the team can make it happen. Being an incredible leader is about getting people to want to follow you. And they will want to follow you if you're solving problems and you're bringing tools and resources to the table.
You heard it here first, folks. Thank you and tune in next time.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.
That's the one I always forget.